in our football-loving nation. I'm requesting for my music.
Yes.
And I'm about to lay out for you.
Give him his music.
A preview of Divisional football
Let's go.
weekend
Come on now.
in the National Football League.
I hear the chimes.
Playoffs. It all starts in Denver, Colorado. The Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos, the 6 seed at the 1 seed. Last year, the Broncos visited Western New York, took on the Bills, and got, to use the Michael Irvin phrase, spanked. Boy, did they ever. 31-7, the final score. In that game, the Bills had twice as many total yards and first downs as Denver had in the entire wild card game. A time of possession of 41 minutes and 43 seconds served to be the best such number of time of possession in the history of the Buffalo Bills in the postseason. They also had a 247-yard total yard advantage. That's the largest in a single game in Bills playoff history, the largest in an NFL playoff game since the Panthers had 308 yards of difference against Arizona in the 2014 wild card. However, this game will happen in Denver, Colorado, where the 1-seeded Denver Broncos are getting set to host the 20th playoff rematch this century between teams that faced each other in the previous postseason. The same team, by the way, won both games in 13 of the previous 19 attempts. Let me be fair and balanced. However, give you this stat. The Bills are 1-7 all time against 1 seeds in the playoffs since the NFL began seeding by record in 1975. The only win was the 1992 divisional round at the AFC 1 seed Pittsburgh Steelers. That's it. Denver Broncos and their fans have not seen a playoff win since Bueller, Super Bowl 50.
Wow.
It's been 9 straight playoff losses for the Denver Broncos. As a matter of fact, the 9-season playoff win drought following a Super Bowl win is the 6th such longest streak of all time. Not a single playoff win in 9 seasons since winning Super Bowl 50. And of course, we all know where Super Bowl 60 is, where Denver won Super Bowl 50. This is going to be Sean Payton's attempt at winning as the 1 seed. He's the 5th coach in NFL history to lead multiple teams to the 1 seed. He did it with the Saints, and now with the Broncos, joining Marty Schottenheimer, Andy Reid, Tom Coughlin, and Mike Holmgren in that. And you could see on the screen the guy who was talking to, Bo Nix. He has 24 quarterback wins in his first 2 seasons with a win. That he would come up with his 25th, the most of any other human being to play quarterback in the National Football League in their first 2 seasons since 1950. He's the 6th quarterback in NFL history to make each of his first 2 career playoff starts against the same opponent and same opposing starting quarterback. The Bills and Josh Allen standing in front of him again. All 6 lost the first matchup. The only one to win the rematch out of the previous 6. 5 of them went on to lose it. The only one to win it, Dan Marino, in 1984, when he finally beat the Seahawks and Dave Craig on the way to his only Super Bowl appearance. One other nugget to keep in mind here as they move on, or couple, involves the defense of the Denver Broncos. This is only the 5th matchup in NFL history between the previous season's MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year in the playoffs. It's going to be Allen, Pat Surtain II. He might not look in Pat Surtain's direction, but this is only the 5th matchup ever. The previous 2 have been in Super Bowls, by the way, won by the MVP. That would be Mahomes over Nick Bosa, and in 2018, Brady over Aaron Donald in the 2018 Super Bowl. On top of it, the Bills, just fresh off of somehow, some way, surviving the top rush defense in the National Football League in Jacksonville, now face the 2nd best pass rush defense in the National Football League. They can become just the 5th team in NFL history to defeat the top 2 rush defenses in a single postseason. Only the 75 Cowboys did it on the road in a single postseason against the top rush defense. Tony Dorsett. Can James Cook basically be the new Tony Dorsett? Bills, as we all know, trying to get to the Super Bowl and win it. And the Denver Broncos, as we know, trying to get back to the Super Bowl for the first time since winning their last postseason game. That kicks off Divisional Saturday, leading to the San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. Would you believe this will be the first time in the history of the National Football League in which two teams play in week one, week last of the regular season, and the playoffs? That's never happened before. Seattle, as we all know, faced San Francisco in week one, and then the final week of the regular season, and now they face each other in the NFL playoffs. That's never happened. The Seahawks last played on January 3rd. Remember that date? That's how long ago it's been.
Wow.
They'll have 13 days of rest in between the games that they've last played and playing this weekend. The 49ers come in and play this game on 5 days rest. If you're wondering, since 1984, teams with 8 or more days of rest advantage against an opponent in the playoffs are 7-0. That's what the Niners are up against when they head up to Seattle. Now, the Niners are bringing in a team coached by Kyle Shanahan, as we know. In Kyle Shanahan's tenure as head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, when they make the playoffs, every single time they've made the NFC Championship game. That's it. As a matter of fact, the Niners have made at least the NFC Championship game in each of their last 7 playoff appearances. They're 7-0 in the wild card and divisional rounds under Kyle Shanahan. How about them apples? They've won 7 consecutive divisional round games, tied for the second longest win streak by any team in a single playoff round all time. Patriots have won 8 in a row. They're taking that streak into Sunday, but I get a little bit ahead of myself. Mike McDonald's Seattle defense, number 1 defense we know, shut down Kyle Shanahan's San Francisco 49ers last time they faced them. The last 2 teams to score 3 or fewer points in a regular season game and then face that team in the playoffs both won the playoff matchup. Back in 2022, Dallas lost to Tampa 19-3 in week 1 and then beat them in the wild card round. In 2020, Tampa Bay lost 38-3 to New Orleans in week 9 and then beat them in the divisional playoff round. In 2013, the Seahawks held the Niners to 3 points in week 2 and then beat them in the NFC Championship game. Here we go. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, coming into this game. He can join Patrick Mahomes as the only starting quarterbacks to reach the conference championship in 3 of his first 4 National Football League seasons. He's 4 on the road. By the way, you know what he is in Seattle? 4-0. He's never lost in Seattle. Never lost in Seattle. The only other person who's had as many straight wins in Seattle in the history of the National Football League's Seattle Seahawks being in existence. His name is Dan Fouts.
He was good.
That's right. Purdy could break the tie with Dan Fouts, words I never thought I would say. But as we all know, this defense for the Seattle Seahawks is top-notch, if not one of the best in the National Football League. They're absolutely crushing it and killing it. And all we need to get is a game out of Sam Darnold in which he doesn't turn it over, moves the ball down the field, and, oh, yeah, by the way, doesn't hurt the oblique that has him questionable on the injury report? What the heck, Sam Darnold?
In routes on air, just kind of felt a little something in my oblique. Just didn't want to push it. Wasn't the day to push it, so that was it. So just came inside, got some rehab, and feel like I'll be ready to go for Saturday.
Is this on like throwing side?
It's just on my left side. It is what it is. But yeah, again, like I said, felt it on a throw, but we'll be ready to go.
What percent of you thinks you might not play?
It's a very low percentage, probably closer to 0.
Probably closer to 0. Darnold is the 4th quarterback in NFL history to lead 2 different teams to the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. And here's the other names: Tom Brady, Warren Moon, Earl Morrall, and now Sam Darnold, trying to get it done, not just for himself, for his first career playoff win, but for his draft class, if he wins and takes Seattle to the NFC Championship game. The 2018 draft class would join the 1983 draft class as the only class with 4 first-round quarterbacks that won a playoff game. Lamar, Josh Allen, and Baker have already done it. If Darnold does it, they would join the vaunted 83 combo of John Elway, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, and Tony Eisen. That's right, Jets fans. Ken O'Brien wasn't in that list. We'll move on to Sunday. Houston at New England. Sunday, divisional playoff weekend. Talk about two different franchises trying to get to the same point. The Patriots are looking to advance to, wait for it, their 16th AFC Championship game. 16. Would tie them with the Cowboys and Steelers in terms of the most of all time, second place behind the 49ers. The Texans are one of only 4 active franchises to never reach a conference championship game. Only one of 4 teams to never appear in a Super Bowl all time. They're the only active franchise to have never appeared in a conference championship. New England's got 11 Super Bowls appearances, 3 more than any other team. The Patriots' wild card win against the Chargers was their first playoff win since Bueller, Brockman. Remember their last playoff win?
Super Bowl.
That's right. Beating the Rams in Super Bowl 52. That's how long it's been. Meanwhile, the Texans won a playoff game last Monday, and they have won a playoff game in each of their first 3 seasons since hiring head coach DeMeco Ryans and drafting C.J. Stroud, the last combo to do that. Andrew Luck and Chuck Pagano, after Joe Flacco and John Harbaugh did it. The longest win streak in a single playoff round in NFL history belongs to the New England Patriots, bringing in 8 straight divisional playoff wins, 2012 to the present day. The Texans have lost all 6 games that they played in the divisional round in team's history. Totally different, and yet both of them start young quarterbacks. In terms of playoff matchups between starting quarterbacks under the age of 25, C.J. Stroud and Drake May are the first such matchups since Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts played in the NFC Championship game. Notice I didn't say finished that game. Lamar and Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Brooks and Dante Culpepper are the only other such matchups this century. This will also be the 3rd youngest combined age between opposing starting quarterbacks in a playoff matchup all time. The Purdy-Hurts combo, younger than Stroud and Drake May at 47 years and 248 days combined. The youngest was Russ versus RG3 back in the 2012 wild card days. Regardless of outcome, the 2025 playoff season will be the 4th consecutive season with a quarterback under the age of 25 starting in a conference championship game. That would tie the record of 4 straight of 84 to 87 when the 83 draft class started crushing it. The Texans have the number 2 ranked scoring defense, number 1 total defense. This will be the first time in May's career that he faces a team with a top 5 scoring and total defense entering the week. That has never happened. We shall see what happens when the Texans defense goes against the Drake May quarterbacked offense. And of course, we will have to keep an eye on the weather to see what happens in New England. Will Old Man Winter, will Mother Nature level the playing surface with a bunch of snow that might create problems for that vaunted secondary of the Texans to plaster and that vaunted pass rush of the Texans to get enough traction and make some hay like the Steelers did against this offense like the Steelers did against this Texans offense last week, or what they did against the Steelers offense last week, or will we see C.J. Stroud have some trouble getting the snap in his hands? My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That's easy for me to say as we lead to the final game of divisional playoff weekend. Want to talk about cold? It's supposed to feel like 0. Could potentially even be winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour. It could potentially even be snow. Things that we don't see in Los Angeles, California.
Could travel to the mountains for that.
The Rams and the Bears are going to meet each other for the 3rd time in the playoffs. Last time it happened, the 1985 NFC Championship game, the vaunted Bears defense shut out the Rams 24-0. On that day, Sean McVay and Ben Johnson were not born.
Really? Wow.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Both of them were born in 1986. The Bears just won their first playoff game since 2010, while the Rams have advanced to the divisional round for the 2nd consecutive season and the 3rd time in 5 seasons since trading for Matthew Stafford. These two gents dialing up the offenses are part and parcel of 2 of the best in the National Football League in terms of the masterminds and young minds. Johnson and McVay are 2 of 3 head coaches all time to take over a team ranked last in total offense, which McVay did back in 2017, and lead them to the playoffs in his first season as its head coach. Ben Johnson did it this year. Again, the last coach to do it was Sean McVay in 2017. The Rams and Bears each ranked inside the top 10 in scoring and total defense, each ranked top 3 in big plays in 2025, which are rushes of 10 or more yards or completions of 20 or more yards. Sean McVay comes into this game with 9 career playoff wins, 4 more than any other head coach all time before turning 40. You want to widen it out to anybody 45 or younger. He wins this one. He breaks a tie with John Madden and ties Don Shula for the all-time mark in that regard. While, wait for it, the most interesting wild nugget of the entire weekend, Sean McVay is coaching in his 15th career playoff game. The Bears are a 15th different opponent. He's never played the same opponent coached against the same opponent in the playoffs ever. And now Ben Johnson, as we all know, is trying to take the Bears to the NFC Championship game against an old foe. An old foe. Matthew Stafford taking on the Chicago Bears for the 23rd time in his career. He's got 35 passing touchdowns against Chicago. That's the 3rd most in the Super Bowl era, while also taking on a first overall pick in Caleb Williams. This will be the largest age difference between former number 1 overall picks in a head-to-head playoff matchup ever. Stafford is 5,033 days or 13 years and 284 days older than Caleb Williams. 5th time Stafford has faced a number 1 overall quarterback in the playoffs. No other number 1 overall quarterback has participated in more than 2 such playoff matchups. And as you know, Stafford's doing it for a 2nd consecutive week. He beat Bryce Young last week. Both Stafford and Williams are the kings of the 4th quarter, last-second comeback game-winning drive. Both of them come into this game throwing a game-winning touchdown pass with under 2 minutes to go to lead the team to victory. We also do know the Bears like taking the ball away. We know that Stafford and this offense are bringing in a guy like Davante Adams, who's used to playing in Soldier Field as well. And they also have Matt LaFleur's brother coordinating the offense going against Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. That's your setup for the divisional playoff weekend.
Let's go.